The rumble of a new Harley Davidson is music to any rider's ears. But what we've got here is something very unique in HD's two latest editions, the X350 and the X500, which are made for learning and loving every rev of the way. Yes, these two motorcycles are poised to get a whole new generation joining the beat. Now let's take a closer look. Now, having tested nearly every new HD model for the past 3 decades, I've seen some extensive changes for the motor company over the years. And one of the biggest developments was the introduction of the Street 500 back in 2014, marking HD's first ever learner-approved motorcycle. It was hugely popular too, bringing many new and younger riders to the brand. But due to various reasons, the demise of the Street 500 was inevitable and production ceased in 2021. Well, it seems the marketing gurus at HD still realise the importance of a lamb's motorcycle, which is why they're now looking to make inroads back into the competitive market with the recent release of the X350 and the X500. One of the biggest differences with the Harley Davidson X range is that they're actually being built in China, and interestingly at the same factory as Benelli. This is undoubtedly the reason why some critics claim that the X500 is essentially a rebadged version of the Benelli Leoncino 500. And I can understand their reasoning, but it isn't entirely accurate, as there have been some obvious styling changes along with some other modifications. Both models are powered by Lamb's approved liquid-cooled parallel twin engines, which is a break from the usual tradition of Harley's V-twin layout, and they're complemented by fuel injection along with a 6-speed transmission and chain drive. But obviously there are quite a few stark differences between each model. For starters, the X350 borrows its styling from the XR750 flat tracker and has a slightly sportier riding position. It's also more compact than the 500, with a lower seat height, a shorter wheelbase and a weight saving of about 13 kilos, coming in at 195 kilos, whereas the X500 tips the scales at 208 kilos. In comparison, the X500 is more inspired by the classic Sportster. You also sit a little taller and the riding position is more upright, making it comfortable for bigger and taller riders. The X500 also has beefier suspension with a 50mm fork compared to the 41mm fork on the X350, along with bigger brakes. And when it comes to the technical features, both bikes have mandatory ABS, but it stops there. There's no traction control, no ride modes, no rider aids, and no smartphone connectivity, which makes sense, considering both bikes have been built on a budget and they're focused more towards learners. And let's be honest, learner riders could do with less distractions. It may also be a lot more plastic than we're used to on HDs, along with the stickers on the tank where it would usually be a badge or quality murals. But it's not surprising when you take the price into consideration. On top of that, if you do happen to drop it, which will be inevitable for some riders learning to ride, it won't cost you a bomb in repairs. Both machines feature a single analogue gauge with a small LCD display incorporated for simple information like trip distance and mileage display, as well as LED lights, which even feature the Harley Davidson logo for a touch of class. Another interesting feature on both models is suspension adjustability front and rear, which is unusual for a small capacity Lamb's bike. Both offer adjustable rebound on the front and adjustable preload and rebound on the rear. This is no doubt to be competitive with other models like the KTM RC90 and the Ninja 400, which also feature adjustable suspension. Another surprising feature was that both bikes have dual front disc brakes, which again isn't common on a Lamb's bike. When it comes to handling, even though they're a little heavier than some Lamb's motorcycles, they handle extremely well, with urban commuting at the forefront of their design. There's more than enough power on hand to buzz around the city, and they'll even roll along the freeway with ease. Although if you do intend on doing a lot of highway touring, you will experience a few vibrations coming up through the grips and into your forearms. Let's just say that if you've got false teeth, maybe slip them in your pocket before you roll up onto the motorway. But in all honesty, these bikes haven't been designed to chew up long distances. Having said that, they will handle it if you're keen. The X range will appeal to quite a broad spectrum of motorcyclists, including experienced riders that already own a bigger HD and might be looking for another manageable bike around town. So with this in mind, we thought we'd get Aly's opinion, especially considering she's been riding HDs for quite a few years now and already owns a lowrider El Diablo. Like most of us, her journey learning to ride was vastly different to what's on offer today, having to ride other small capacity bikes before she could even think about jumping on a Harley Davidson.
My turn.
When Pugs dropped off the X500, it was quite different to what I'm used to when it comes to Harley Davidsons. I remember the Street 500, but these new Lamb's bikes are quite different. With notable styling, especially the paint job, along with competitive pricing, I really believe both these new models will be popular with not only learner riders, but also someone that might like another smaller Harley Davidson to use as a daily commuter. To be honest, that's what they've been designed for, tearing around town and zipping through traffic. I did find that after any extended time on the bike, even though it's a comfortable riding position, the seat is a little too hard for me, so there's no way I'd plan a trip around Australia on one. But I do think a lot of learners will love the fact that they can jump straight onto a Harley Davidson, which is something I didn't get to do when I first got my licence. Even this little 350 was impressive, even though it'd probably be the 500 I'd go for if I was going to buy one.
Okay, now these two motorcycles are sure to please some of you commenting on our social pages, because we've seen quite a few comments asking for a bike from HD under 13 grand. Well, Harley Davidson have listened, and here's two of them right here. Now the bike's landed in dealerships across the country in early January, with the X350 available with an Australian ride-away price of only $8,495, and it comes in dramatic black, dynamic orange, supersonic silver and pearl white. While the X500 will be available with an Australian ride-away price of $11,495, also in dramatic black, dynamic orange, supersonic silver and pearl white. So at this stage, as they've been built on a different platform, there aren't a lot of accessories available just yet. But give it a few months and I'm sure they'll start rolling stuff out. In looking at Harley's new X-Range motorcycles, it's clear they've crafted affordable and capable motorcycles well suited for learning. Both the X350 and X500 offer a unique Harley style different than what we're used to, alongside modern features like the fuel injection and the ABS to make new riders feel confident on the road. While higher spec options may exist, these bikes prioritise the essentials with enough power to enjoy every single ride. So if you're ready to start your riding journey, don't hesitate to swing by a Harley dealer for a test ride on one of these new great Lambs bikes. And as always, live to ride.